Hello, welcome to the Elementary Parent Night presentation for the fourth grade. My name is Mrs. Russell, and I will be your child's teacher for this fourth grade year. A little bit about me. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Health Sciences from Howard University, Go Bison. I also have a Master's of Science in Education Administration from Trinity University in Washington, D.C., right around the corner. I am certified by the Association of Christian Schools International, which is the governing body for Christian schools in the area and abroad. And I also hold an advanced professional certificate from the Maryland State Department of Education. I am certified in special education, and I also am a certified health education specialist. So you probably hear the theme of education and leadership. I am originally from Miami, Florida, and I'm a wife and mother of 5 Riverdale students, 4 of which are current students, and one I'm proud to say that I just took to Liberty University last week. Everything I do in the classroom is driven by the mission statement of Riverdale Baptist School. My purpose there and my priority is to allow your child to develop a personal relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ. That's what separates us from different schools in the area. But also, I use that and integrate that into a Christ-centered, biblically based education. I love what I do, and I do it because I'm called to do it, but also because there is a need for it in this season and in this time. You can ask your scholar right now what I expect, and they will tell you Mrs. Russell expects excellence. The fourth grade curriculum. I am responsible for engaging your scholar in all of the core subjects that you see here. The one distinct class for the fourth grade is Maryland history. Nationwide, the fourth grade is the only grade where a child learns about the state in which they live. So I have that honor to do so. There are also specials, of course, that your child will be going to throughout the year. Chapel, I want to highlight, is always going to be on Thursday unless there is some difference in the schedule for a special reason. But it's every Thursday at 8:30, and I invite you to attend and worship the Lord with us. Art, band, chorus, Spanish, physical education, and STEM are reoccurring classes that we have this year. The testing schedule. Assessments for Bible and spelling are every Friday. It is very important for your scholar to know the New King James Version of the weekly verse, the meaning, which I give them, and the reference from which it comes. Bible tests include the verse and questions from the units that we are studying. Let's Worship Together is a very unique assignment, and that's due the last Monday of each month. I'll go into depth about that in subsequent slides. Wednesdays are math days. Quizzes and tests for math alternate throughout the year. I will not give them their first quiz, however, until after Lesson 10. That gives them an opportunity to refresh their memory with what they learned last year and to give them confidence in what we're doing this year. All other assessments, for example in science and in Maryland history, will occur as the units and chapters are completed. Your scholar will blog this year. Their blog entries are due every Tuesday, and I'll explain that as well. Okay. Let's talk about my math class. Saxon Math is the curriculum this year, and it is cumulative in nature, meaning a concept that they may learn in Lesson 1 could very well show up in Lessons 21, 31, and 41. That is to make sure that your scholar retains it. With the exception of Wednesdays and Fridays, there will be homework. Math is just that subject that you just have to practice. So you will see nightly homework with the exceptions of Wednesdays and Fridays for your scholar to practice their facts, do written practice, lesson practice, and I do grade for effort for homework. So it's very important that your scholar does their work because it could very easily help their grade because of the practice or have an adverse effect or impact on their grade if they do not complete their homework. Math is interactive. I use lots of manipulatives and ask many higher order thinking questions throughout the lessons every day. The most important part of that is real world application, because that is what makes math come alive. Let's worship together. This assignment is cross-curricular. That is to say, it is a Bible activity, but it requires reading skills and strategies in order to enhance the Bible curriculum. In this assignment, students are to attend a worship service at least once a month at a Christian church. A Christian church is defined as one that preaches the Bible as truth and Jesus as Lord, and they can choose any church of their choice to complete this assignment. They have a graphic organizer in their folder that they must complete in order to get credit for this assignment. They also should attach a bulletin from that service and submit them both on the last Monday of each month. Now, because of technology, you have the option of attending church online. That's perfectly fine. If you do so, however, it must be a live streaming event. That means no YouTube clips will be accepted for this assignment. Complete the attached assignment sheet, but instead of having a bulletin to attach, since you weren't in a physical building, you'd print the web page of the link used for the live streaming event. That way I see the link and the timestamp. Submit both on the last Monday of each month. Now, although this is for a quiz grade, it is meant to be an enjoyable family experience. So make sure to get to church on time so you don't miss anything. This is a visual of what you'll find in your scholar's bag. Introducing KidBlog. KidBlog is a platform that your scholar can express themselves in a safe online environment. I have provided in your child's folder a complete list of all the topics they will discuss online for the entire year. These blogs are due weekly, every Tuesday. They'd look at the topic and they'd respond to that topic online. The class or the blog is self-contained. That means no outside people can have access to our scholars online, and students will not be directed to go online without your supervision. The only way someone else can see what they're writing online is if you give them the password and link that I will email to you. They are to respond to the topic and then find a comment on a neighbor's blog. All responses should be thoughtful and respectful, and they should be done in complete sentences. Now, I am very aware that most 8 and 9-year-olds don't know how to type, so they will need your assistance, and I stress assistance. You'd be surprised what your scholar can do. But it starts out with just 3 sentences. 3 complete sentences in response to the blog, and then 1 sentence comment to another person's blog. Of course, it doesn't stay there, however. As the quarters go on, the amount of sentences will increase. This is their opportunity to apply the Shirley grammar rules that they've been learning since the 1st grade, many of them. This is also a chance for them to explore their writing and to integrate technology in the learning process. My students enjoy this every year, and you will be surprised at some of the responses they give to the topics. So I encourage you to sit next to them while they type and help them do it. Now, they have an entire week to do it, an entire week to do 3 sentences. So let them get the practice on their own. Science class. Science is another exciting aspect of what we do this year. One of the highlights of our science year is the good old-fashioned science fair. We will be discussing the steps to the scientific process throughout the year, and the culmination of that is the science project. The trifold board will show the experiment that they will choose, and there will be deadlines throughout the year to make sure that they stay on track to get it done when it is due. On that trifold board, there will be at least one graph or chart to be displayed. Parents, you're more than happy to assist, but please allow the students to do the work on their own. I know the temptation will be great, particularly when it gets close to the time, but we want science to be exciting for them, and the only way that happens is when they are directly involved and they are owning this part of the learning process. A rubric will be available on RenWeb, and the science fair coordinator, I am not that coordinator, they will have more details for you and due dates as we get closer to the third and fourth quarters. Students will be presenting their projects and their experiments on prescribed days. It's important for me to let you know now that there is a difference between a presentation and a project. A science presentation just gives information and communicates information with no experiment. However, a science project, I see at least two things that are being tested, two conditions that are being tested. There's data that comes from that can be analyzed, and a conclusion can be drawn. The science presentation will not get a good grade, but the science experiment and project will. So please govern yourselves accordingly. Our Maryland history class. Again, fourth graders learn about their state in the fourth grade, and Maryland has a rich wealth of information and important people who have done important things that have impacted our nation and the world. And we will be exploring many of those things. There are field trips connected to Maryland history. One of my favorite is the Baltimore Museum of Industry because it includes Maryland history and science and engineering. So you'll be hearing more about that. You can see the other field trips on the slide. And if you have any recommendations, I'm sure there are some educators out there that may have run across a few things. I love getting out into the community and having hands-on learning available for my scholars. International Week will also fall under the Maryland tab and Social Studies tab in the gradebook on RenWeb. Maryland projects are due in the fourth quarter, and they will build a project for me completely on technology in class. The rubric for that will also be available on RenWeb. Grading and homework policy. RenWeb and the agenda book will be your best friends this year. I use them, of course, for grading and announcements and the things that you need to know that are up and coming for the fourth grade year. Students are given time at the beginning of the day to write down their homework so they won't forget if they would try to do it at the end. They must turn their homework in on time to avoid loss of credit. No written homework will be given on Wednesdays and Fridays. That way family time can be had and they could actually have a chance to relax and enjoy the evening. I do not believe that homework should be oppressive, so you will not have loads and loads of homework. However, time management is important. If time isn't managed, even if there's only a little homework, you will still feel stressed out. So please make sure that your scholar has ample time to complete it and to check their work. Makeup work is given according to the handbook. A student that has been out for a number of days due to illness or another excused absence can make up missed work, but it is his or her responsibility to come to me to request the homework for the days absent. According to the handbook again, as many days as they've been out, they have that many days to make up the work. If they're out with the flu for 3 days, they have 3 days to make up the work. I attempt to spread the work out so that they're not overwhelmed after coming off of an illness or an absence. Having to learn the new material and make up the old material can be very stressful. And I want to be considerate to both the child and you. So we will definitely communicate if there is an extended amount of time that the child is out of class. My discipline policy. For the most part, all school rules apply to my classroom and when we're out in the community, even on the school bus. It is not my goal to have a student in the office. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help them because they're missing instruction, and then they have to attempt to make that work up, and then they have to deal with the social ramifications. It's not my goal to have them out of the classroom. I believe that everything that needs to be handled can be handled in the classroom. Now, there may be extenuating circumstances where they have to go and visit the principal, but you will never hear something about your child's behavior from the front office before you've heard it from me personally. So I try to take steps, I try to incentivize, and I have a culture of grace in my classroom so that the child can know that they're loved, but also know that there are consequences for actions. Not only do I have a card system, it flips cards from yellow to all the way to red, that's chances and chances to correct and self-correct behavior. I also have incentive programs that our students are actively engaged in for being caught doing the right thing. The communication between you and me is key. So again, you will never hear something from anyone else before you hear it from me. And finally, some general classroom policies of which I'd like to make you aware. Uniforms this year are the same that are outlined in the Riverdale Baptist Handbook. Monogrammed gray or white polos, navy blue monogrammed pants, black belt, dark socks, all black shoes are required each day. Thursdays, however, the monogrammed button-down Riverdale shirts are worn. Ladies wear their skirts on Thursdays with crossbows, and gentlemen wear their ties. If you elect for your scholar to have catered lunch, they have to submit that online for the subsequent week, or else you'd have to bring the lunch in, or they'd have to bring their lunch in because they will not receive catered lunch. I understand I have fantastic room parents out there this year, and I would love for you to identify yourself by sending me your email and sending me your name. I have a lot of exciting things I'd like to discuss with you about holiday parties and events that come up, the usual ones, and a couple of others throughout the year. So please, please, please let me know if you'd like to serve in that capacity. For visiting and picking up your scholar, please correspond with me through email if your scholar is being picked up by anyone other than who is outlined on their student information sheet. I am a very protective teacher and parent, and if I do not have that correspondence, I will not release your scholar to someone who does not have the authorization to do so. So please make sure I know who those people are. I do not release students on their word. For field trips, you're welcome, and I invite you to chaperone. It is, again, a first come, first serve basis, and I'm excited about parents being out in the community with our scholars. This is a great opportunity. Those are great opportunities to make memories because, trust me, fourth grade is going to go just like that. For birthday parties, generally they're done during lunchtime. So please, no clowns, no ponies, or anything extravagant. Just something to bring the class together to celebrate another year that God has blessed your scholar with, and just something that we can take a moment to acknowledge the fact that God has blessed them another year. You are welcome to distribute that during the lunch hour because they have lunch in the lunchroom. Or you can have your scholar designate another student to help them distribute things like cupcakes. And of course, I'm always there to help. What I do need is someone who is creative who will also help put together the bulletin boards. Now, you can be as creative as you'd like, or you can buy something from the educational store. But I would prefer to focus on instruction and delivery of that instruction in the classroom. And doing the bulletin board, though it's a beautiful aesthetic, is something that can be delegated. And I would love for a mom or a dad with crafty hands to help me with that. You can even get on a rotation schedule with a couple of people to share the responsibility. But please, if you'd like to, let me know. Just shoot me an email and say, Mrs. Russell, I'd like to help with the bulletin boards. And you can tell me how often you'd like to do that. Finally, donations and wish list. There are a couple of things that our class could benefit from because we have a myriad of talents and gifts and interests. So we like to reflect that in our games and in the things that we do in the classroom. There are some general administrative things and then just some fun games. I'll post that list on RenWeb under the homeroom tab for you to choose and let me know which one that you'd like to contribute to the class. If you have any further questions, feel free to contact me. Here's my email address, and I prefer emailing because then we have a written record of our correspondence and it's just faster to connect with you this way. If for any reason you can't reach me by email, you can also call my extension and I will get back with you at my earliest convenience. Thank you so much for choosing Riverdale Baptist School. It's a privilege to teach your scholar this year. I know my assignment is to train leaders for the kingdom. Your scholar is a leader, and I do believe that all children can learn. I am excited about what God is going to do this year. Their academic, their physical, their social, and more importantly, their spiritual growth is my priority. Thank you, and I look forward to working with you this year.